The Hyena's Curse. The marketplace of Kiboko bustled with life, filled with vibrant stalls of woven baskets, fragrant spices, and merchants shouting to advertise their goods. At its heart stood Saidi, a humble tailor whose small corner shop was often overlooked amidst the chaos. His deft hands stitched fabric into beautiful garments, yet few knew that Saidi possessed a secret. He had the ability to commune with spirits. For years he kept this gift hidden, fearing it would make him an outcast. One fateful morning, as the villagers bargained and traded, a scruffy hyena appeared at the edge of the market. It circled the stalls, its golden eyes gleaming with mischief. The children pointed and laughed, throwing scraps of food to the animal, while the adults dismissed it as a mere nuisance. But Saidi watched closely, sensing something strange. The hyena lingered too long, its movements calculated, as if it was studying the villagers. By dusk, the marketplace emptied, and silence fell over Kiboko. But as the villagers returned the next day, they found chaos instead of order. Goods lay strewn across the ground, stalls were torn apart, and an eerie smell of sulphur hung in the air. Saidi's shop, along with many others, had been ransacked. On the ground, claw marks etched strange patterns that seemed too deliberate to be random. As the villagers gathered to discuss the strange occurrences, the same hyena appeared again, this time sitting boldly in the middle of the square. "Foolish humans," it growled, to everyone's shock. "You have disrespected the spirits and the earth that sustain you. I curse this place. Until you learn humility, your marketplace shall be your ruin." With that, the hyena let out a piercing laugh and vanished into the shadows. Panic swept through Kiboko as the villagers realized they had angered a spirit in disguise. The curse took hold swiftly. Goods spoiled overnight, and fresh fruits turned to ash in the villagers' hands. Tools broke inexplicably, and even the sturdy stone walls of the marketplace began to crack. Livelihoods crumbled, and desperation took root. Some villagers turned to prayer, while others suggested drastic rituals to appease the spirits. Saidi, however, remained quiet, piecing together the events. He recalled his late grandmother's teachings about mischievous spirits and how their curses could be lifted through wit and wisdom. Knowing that his gift might be the village's only hope, he resolved to act. Under the cover of night, he prepared his tools, not for sewing, but for a different kind of craft. He gathered charms, herbs, and a small mirror said to reveal a spirit's true form. Saidi's first step was to track the hyena. He wandered the outskirts of Kiboko, where the forest grew thick and shadows danced under the moonlight. The air felt heavier here, charged with an otherworldly energy. Saidi laid traps of enchanted twine infused with protective charms, hoping to catch the hyena, or at least slow it down. As he worked, he felt the presence of eyes watching him from the darkness. A low growl confirmed his suspicion. The hyena was near. "You're braver than the others," the hyena's voice echoed, mocking him. "But bravery won't save your village. Turn back before it's too late." Saidi stood firm, clutching his mirror. "Your curse hurts more than it teaches," he called out. "Let us find another way." The hyena only laughed before disappearing into the shadows once more. The next morning, Saidi consulted his trusted friend Zuri. a skilled herbalist known for her wisdom and connection to nature. Zuri listened intently as Saidi explained the hyena's curse and its cryptic words. She nodded thoughtfully and said, "This hyena is no ordinary spirit. Its anger stems from a deep wound, one we must understand to undo its wrath." Together, they devised a plan to uncover the hyena's true motives. Zuri brewed a potent potion that would allow Saidi to step briefly into the spirit world, where he could seek answers directly. "But be warned," she cautioned. "The spirit world reflects your heart. Enter it with fear, and it will consume you." Saidi, determined to save his village, drank the potion and closed his eyes. When Saidi opened his eyes, the world around him had transformed. The marketplace, now shimmering with an eerie glow, floated above a vast swirling void. Familiar sights, stalls, trees, even the river, appeared distorted, as if seen through rippling water. Shadows flitted in the periphery, whispering unintelligibly. Saidi gripped the mirror tightly, remembering Zuri's warning about fear. He walked cautiously through this surreal landscape, calling out for the hyena. "Why do you torment us? Show yourself!" A gust of wind roared past him, and the hyena appeared atop a ruined stall, its form larger and more imposing in this realm. "You dare step into the spirit world," it snarled. "Your arrogance mirrors that of your people." Saidi steadied his breath. "We need to understand your pain if we are to make amends," he replied, trying to keep his voice calm. The hyena leapt down, circling Saidi. Its eyes glinted with both anger and sorrow. "You humans take what you please without gratitude," it growled. "Your marketplace was built over sacred land, my land. Your greed has desecrated it." Saidi frowned, his heart heavy with guilt. He had heard stories as a child about the sacred grove that once stood where the marketplace now thrived. But those tales had been dismissed as myths. "What must we do to restore what was lost?" Saidi asked, his voice earnest. The hyena's form flickered, its anger seeming to waver. "Restore the grove," it said. "Replant the trees, honor the spirits, and make offerings to the earth. But know this, true atonement requires sacrifice." With that, the hyena vanished, leaving Saidi alone in the strange realm. When Saidi awoke, he found Zuri sitting beside him, her expression tense. "What did you see?" she asked. Saidi recounted the hyena's demands, and Zuri nodded solemnly. "The grove was sacred to many spirits, not just the hyena," she said. "Restoring it will require the entire village to unite." Saidi knew this would be no small task. The villagers were still reeling from the curse, and many blamed each other for their misfortune. The next day, Saidi and Zuri gathered the villagers in the damaged marketplace. Standing on a makeshift platform, Saidi shared the hyena's story. He spoke of the grove and the spirits it housed, urging everyone to join him in restoring the land. Some villagers scoffed, unwilling to believe tales of spirits, but others, inspired by Saidi's passion, agreed to help. Work began the very next morning. Saidi led a group to the outskirts of the village, where they dug up ancient roots and unearthed relics of the sacred grove. Zuri showed others how to plant native trees and cultivate the land with respect. For the first time in years, the villagers worked together, united by a common purpose. Yet not everyone was on board. Nia, a wealthy merchant, scoffed at the efforts. "Restoring trees won't fix a cursed marketplace," she sneered. Her words sowed doubt in some, and soon a faction of villagers began sabotaging the efforts, leaving fields untended and supplies scattered. Saidi knew he had to address the division before it destroyed their progress. One evening, Saidi stood in the marketplace and addressed the villagers. "This is not just about lifting the curse," he said, his voice echoing through the square. "It's about healing the land, the spirits, and ourselves. If we fail, the hyena's wrath will only grow, and our home will be lost forever." His words struck a chord, and even some skeptics began to reconsider their stance. As the villagers redoubled their efforts, Saidi returned to Zuri for guidance. "The hyena spoke of a sacrifice," he said. "What do you think it meant?" Zuri hesitated, then said, "The spirits often demand something of great personal value. Be prepared, Saidi. The road ahead will test not just your strength, but your heart." Over the next few weeks, the grove began to take shape. Young saplings stretched toward the sun, and the air grew sweeter with the scent of new blossoms. The villagers, once divided by suspicion and fear, found joy in their shared labor. Children played in the fields, and elders told stories of the old grove, rekindling a sense of reverence for their land. But the hyena was not yet appeased. One night, as Saidi patrolled the grove, he heard its haunting laughter echo through the trees. "Progress," it said, emerging from the shadows. "But not enough. Your people must prove they've learned humility." Saidi clenched his fists. "We've worked tirelessly. What more do you want from us?" The hyena smirked. "You'll see," it said cryptically, before vanishing once more. The hyena's warning came to pass the following day. A fierce storm swept through Kiboko, tearing apart roofs and flooding fields. The villagers, terrified, sought shelter in the unfinished grove. As lightning illuminated the sky, Saidi realized the storm was no natural phenomenon. It was a test from the spirits. Leading the villagers, Saidi called out to the hyena, "We are here. Show us what you need, and we will answer." The storm calmed briefly, and the hyena appeared, its eyes glowing in the darkness. "One of you must step forward and offer something irreplaceable," it said. "Only then will the curse be lifted." The villagers murmured in fear, but Saidi stepped forward, ready to make the ultimate sacrifice. Saidi faced the hyena, his heart heavy yet resolute. "I am ready to offer whatever is required," he said, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. The hyena circled him, studying him intently. "And what do you hold most dear, Saidi?" it asked. The tailor hesitated, thinking of the tools his late father had given him, the craft that had sustained him, and the community he now fought to protect. "I offer my father's sewing tools," Saidi declared. "They are my legacy, but the village is my future." The hyena tilted its head, considering the offer. "A noble gesture," it said, "but this sacrifice must come from the heart, not the hand." It vanished, leaving Saidi with the realization that the hyena sought something deeper. Saidi returned to the village that night, his mind racing. Zuri met him at the edge of the grove, sensing his turmoil. "What happened?" she asked. Saidi explained. the hyena's demand, and Zuri placed a comforting hand on his shoulder. "The hyena is testing your spirit," she said. "It wants to know if your love for this village is greater than your attachment to your past." Over the next few days, Saidi sought guidance from the elders. They spoke of the spirit's ways and the importance of selflessness. Meanwhile, the villagers continued their work, unaware of the storm brewing within Saidi. He watched them rebuild with determination, realizing that his connection to them was the key to lifting the curse. The hyena returned one moonlit night, appearing in Saidi's dreams. It led him to the heart of the grove, where a single ancient tree stood, its branches bare. "This tree represents your village's soul," the hyena said. "To restore it, you must give up what you hold most sacred. Search your heart, Saidi, and decide what truly matters." When Saidi awoke, he knew what he had to do. He gathered the villagers and told them of his vision. "The hyena demands a sacrifice, not of possessions, but of ourselves," he said. "I will give my most cherished memory, my connection to my father, to save this village." The crowd fell silent, moved by his bravery. The villagers accompanied Saidi to the grove, where Zuri prepared a ritual to honor his decision. She created a circle of salt and herbs around the ancient tree, lighting candles that cast flickering shadows. Saidi stepped into the circle, holding the tools his father had left him. He closed his eyes, focusing on the memories of his father's teachings and love. As he spoke his farewell, the tools began to glow, their light mingling with the candle's flames. A gentle wind swept through the grove, and the hyena appeared, watching silently. "You have done well," it said. "Your sacrifice honors the spirits. But there is one final trial." The hyena's final test was one of unity. "The curse can only be lifted if your village works as one," it said. "Show me that you are not just individuals, but a community bound by trust and compassion." Saidi turned to the villagers, his voice steady. "This is our moment to prove ourselves. Let us finish what we started." Over the next few days, the villagers worked together like never before. They repaired homes, shared food, and helped each other rebuild their lives. Even skeptics like Nia joined the efforts, inspired by Saidi's leadership. Slowly, the marketplace began to resemble its former glory, now surrounded by the blossoming grove. When the work was complete, the hyena appeared one last time, its eyes softer than before. "You have proven your worth," it said. "The spirits are appeased and the balance is restored." It walked to Saidi and bowed its head. "Your courage and selflessness have saved your village. Remember this lesson and honor the land you live on." With a final burst of light, the hyena disappeared, and the grove transformed. The ancient tree bloomed with vibrant flowers, its branches stretching toward the heavens. The villagers cheered, their joy echoing through the night. Saidi stood at the center, his heart lighter than it had ever been. In the days that followed, the village thrived like never before. The marketplace bustled with activity, and the grove became a place of gathering and reflection. Saidi, now regarded as a hero, returned to his work as a tailor, his shop filled with customers eager to hear his story. Zuri continued to guide the villagers in honoring the spirits, ensuring they never forgot the hyena's lesson. Our prosperity depends on balance, she reminded them. We must give as much as we take. The villagers nodded, their gratitude towards Saidi and Zuri boundless. Years later, the village of Kiboko became known far and wide for its harmony and beauty. Travellers marvelled at the grove and the bustling marketplace, hearing tales of the tailor who had saved his home. Saidi, now an elder, watched proudly as the next generation embraced the values he had fought to protect. And on quiet nights when the wind whispered through the trees, some claimed to hear the hyena's laughter, a reminder of the day Kiboko learned the true meaning of unity and sacrifice. Did this tale of courage, sacrifice, and unity captivate you? Don't let the lessons of Saidi and the villagers end here. Like this video if you enjoyed the journey of the hyena's curse. Comment below, what would you have sacrificed in Saidi's place? Share this story with someone who loves African folklore and timeless lessons. Subscribe to our channel for more gripping tales of wisdom, magic, and adventure. Join us on this journey, and let's keep the spirit of storytelling alive.